year is 1765. The Black Crow is a trade ship sailing into the vast, endless waters of the Atlantic. Captain Gregor is a ruthless and cruel man, and his crew is no different to outlaws and cutthroats who live by no rules. At their last port, they took a young, orphan girl against her will, merely for their own amusement. Her name is Elena, and she trembles in fear inside the dark confines of her cabin. The ship sails into open waters, but the sea is unnaturally silent. There is no storm, yet even the wind has ceased to blow. This eerie stillness unsettles the crew, but soon Captain Gregor and his men will break the silence with their own twisted entertainment. That night, as the crew drinks and laughs below deck, Captain Gregor retreats to his quarters, but he is not alone. Elena has been dragged there by force, her desperate struggle meaningless against the strength of the sailors. Gregor grins as he watches the fear in her eyes. "Tonight you are our entertainment," he says, removing his heavy coat. Elena backs away, pressing herself into the farthest corner of the room. Outside, the drunken shouts of the crew mask the horror unfolding inside. Gregor enjoys her terror, tightening his grip as she tries to resist. When his cold hands close around her throat, she realizes there is no escape. But Gregor does not realize something. The sea is listening to her screams. When Gregor is done, he drags Elena below deck, throwing her into the dark cargo hold so that the rest of the crew may have their turn. But then the sea changes. At first, a small wave, then a whispering wind, then a sudden tremor through the ship's wooden frame. The crew shrugs it off until strange things begin to happen. A sailor sees his reflection in a barrel of water, but the reflection smiles back at him. Another sailor wakes up in his bunk to the touch of an icy hand on his throat, but there is no one there. From beneath the floorboards, faint cries echo through the ship. Terrified, the crew drags Elena before the captain, but now her eyes are different. That night, the sea becomes completely still. The ship refuses to move. The wind is gone. The waves have vanished. Then a single blood-curdling scream pierces the silence. The first victim is a sailor patrolling the deck. His companions hear his cry, but when they rush to find him, he is gone. All that remains is a single wet handprint in blood on the wooden floor. Panic spreads among the crew. Gregor, in his rage, grabs his sword. "It's because of this girl," he shouts, preparing to strike Elena down. But at that moment, the ship shakes violently. The sea has come to claim them. A massive wave lifts the Black Crow high into the air before slamming it back down. Half the crew is thrown overboard. But those who fall into the sea do not scream because the ocean swallows them in silence. Gregor stumbles, running to his quarters in desperation. But when he enters, he sees something horrifying. His reflection in the mirror, only it is grinning at him. "Do you remember me, Captain?" it whispers. Gregor stumbles back in terror as the mirror shatters, and Elena steps out, but she is no longer human. Gregor's screams are heard for the last time. By morning, the sea is calm again. The Black Crow is gone. But from a distance, another passing ship spots a lone girl floating on the water. They pull her aboard. It is Elena, but her eyes are no longer the same. And from that day on, whenever the wicked prey upon the innocent, a whisper rises before the storm. "I see you